Thank you to everyone who participated in my poll on my community page here on YouTube. You basically let me know that you wanted me to do a video about the Tyler Perry situation. And the three options I had on the poll was no, yes, and neutral. So yes won. So here we go. We have the video. And I am Giselle Wallace, certified gay life coach and author. Here on my YouTube channel, I provide my lesbian perspective. And if that interests you, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I actually was looking at some commentary from some people who reported on the story of Tyler Perry. And it was very interesting because I heard viewpoints from a male perspective as well as a female perspective. And it was good to hear the different perspectives. But for me, I want to give you my lesbian perspective and also chime in on how I was able to kind of evaluate how other people viewed this breaking story about Tyler Perry allegedly being accused of SA. And so I'm going to read from the article of Reuters. So this is from Reuters.com. And the article title says, Producer Tyler Perry accused of sexual harassment and assault in lawsuit, by Lisa Richwine. This article was posted on June 18, 2025. The article begins by Reuters. An actor on the U.S. BET television show The Oval has filed a civil lawsuit that accuses media mogul Tyler Perry of repeated SA and harassment. Derek Dixon is seeking $260 million in punitive damages from Perry in a lawsuit filed Friday in Los Angeles Supreme Court and reported by TMZ on Tuesday. In the suit, Dixon accuses Perry of a sustained pattern of workplace harassment and assault and retaliation. An attorney for Perry called the lawsuit a scam. This is an individual who got close to Tyler Perry for what now appears to be nothing more than a scam. Attorney Matthew Boyd said in a statement, but Tyler Perry will not be shaken down, and we are confident these fabricated claims of harassment will fail. Perry is a successful actor, writer, and producer of dozens of TV shows and films, including the Medea movie series. Forbes estimates his net worth at $1.4 billion. The lawsuit claims Perry met Dixon when he was working on the event staff at a party Perry was hosting, and that Perry offered him a role on the series Ruthless in 2019 and a bigger part later on The Oval. Dixon alleges that Perry sent unwanted sexually suggestive text messages to him. The suit includes screenshots of what is said were exchanges between the two. What's it going to take for you to have guiltless sex? Said one of the messages that Dixon said was from Perry. After the messages, Perry's behavior escalated to SA, the lawsuit said. One night at Perry's home, the lawsuit said Perry told Dixon he was too drunk to drive and urged him to stay in a guest room. Dixon said he woke up in the middle of the night to find Perry in bed with him and rubbing his thigh. In another case, Perry forcibly pulled off Mr. Dixon's clothing, groped his buttocks, and attempted to force himself on Dixon, the lawsuit said. Dixon tried to remain friendly with Perry while rebuffing his advances in order to keep his job, the lawsuit said. Perry made it clear to Dixon that his TV character could be unalived off if he ignored Perry or did not take part in his sexual innuendos, the lawsuit said. So that's the end of the article. And now I will give you my commentary. The first thing that came to my mind when I heard about the lawsuit of Derek Dixon filing against Tyler Perry for alleged SA, I thought about the actor Christian Keys. Because in 2023, Christian Keys took to his social media, his Instagram, and he gave his testimony of how for years he's been sexually harassed by a big mogul producer in the film industry. He didn't say any names. He actually said it was two different black men and they were both billionaires. And people went crazy. They went right into their guesswork and they were commenting under his videos and even under different big social media platforms like Shade Room. And apparently they figured the name out and got it right. But Christian Keys, I remember he was saying he didn't admit to the name of the person, but he did make a comment along the lines of, you have said many names in the comment sections and some of you do have the name correct, some of you don't. So he didn't deliberately tell us who was the person who was harassing him over the years. But I remember watching the entire video that Christian Keys, I think it was alive. But anyway, I watched the full video and I've always liked Christian Keys' work. Christian Keys is an actor and a singer and a model. And he's a black man, a very attractive black man. He used to play as a character in some of Tyler Perry's early Medea movies in the plays. It was like the plays that he was in. He's a very good actor. But it was very groundbreaking for him to reveal this information, Christian Keys, because for one, he still works in the film industry, but Christian Keys is now independent. He is an entrepreneur. He no longer has to rely or depend on someone else to make money. So this is probably a big reason why he felt comfortable enough to come out and admit to what he's experienced in the film industry. And to be fair, he also admitted that he had an encounter with a woman as well who was sexually harassing him. Like it was, I think through some type of casting call. Collectively, I think he mentioned 3 persons who sexually harassed him. And I'll say allegedly because for one, I wasn't there. And 2, it's alleged because it's not proven until it's actually proven, like in the court of law. But Christian Keys went silent, and we don't quite know why he went silent, but he hasn't discussed it since 2023. Some people allegedly are saying that they believe that he was paid off, that there was probably some type of settlement, so he's not taking it to court, and he's not bringing up the alleged SA incident anymore because, well, he's reap the benefits, and people think that it was monetary benefits. But we don't know if that's true or not. We don't really know what Christian Keys' plans are. But I wish him well. I wish him safety. And I appreciate him coming out with the information because it's very difficult for a man to admit to being sexually harassed or experiencing SA, especially when it comes from another man. And I commend Christian Keys for coming forward. He actually said that he gained the courage to do this because of the singer Cassie, with Cassie coming forth with what she experienced in the freak-offs allegedly by Sean Combs, which is P. Diddy. And of course, we know that P. Diddy is in court and his court case is playing out. We still are waiting to see what will be the determining factor with Sean P. Diddy Combs regarding his situation. that was why Christian Key said he had the courage to come out. So if you are experiencing any type of essay, any harassment, please speak to someone. Find someone who you can confide in. Your admittance to what you're experiencing will help you, but it also will help someone else. And people who are predators, they need to face themselves, and they also need to suffer the repercussions of what crimes they have committed. Because if people feel as though that they can get away with essay or the M word, and I'm abbreviating words for the purposes of, I don't want to be censored. I do want this message to get out there. But when I did read the article from Reuters, that was words that were in their article. So just understand that is the reason why I will abbreviate words to avoid censorship. But speak up for yourself. Unfortunately, there are people who are deviants, sexual deviants in this world. And if they feel like they can intimidate you, if they can overpower you and they can control you, then they can silence you. And that is their main goal, because they want to continue to mistreat you. And when you speak up, you actually put fear in the predator, because they don't expect you to do it. Believe me, if they have made you their victim, you are not the only one. But someone has to speak up. And it could take just one person to do so to make a difference. Now, when I was looking at some different commentary by different social media content creators, I listened to a male perspective and a female perspective. And it was very interesting, because now the actor Derek Dixon has filed this $260 million lawsuit against Tyler Perry for essay. He worked with Tyler Perry, or shall I say, he was hired by Tyler Perry. I don't want to say worked with, because that's more like a collaboration or a partnership. He actually was hired by Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry is a producer, he's a director, he's a filmmaker, an actor, and he has his own company. I think it's Tyler Perry Productions. Tyler Perry is a billionaire. That's B like big. Okay, he's a billionaire. There's not too many billionaires in the world, and there's not too many black billionaires, and there's not too many black male billionaires. So this makes Tyler Perry very distinct. And you could say, oh, well, this is why he's being targeted, because he's a black man and he's a billionaire. And because Derek Dixon he's either Caucasian or of Latino descent, I'm not really sure, but he's not a black man, because it's very known that Tyler Perry hires black people in his films, in his plays. And so Derek Dixon, let's just say allegedly he's a Caucasian man, and they're saying that, oh, well, this is why this lawsuit is so big, because he's this white man that's filing this huge outrageous lawsuit against Tyler Perry because he's a black man and he's a billionaire. He just wants to take him for everything he's got because he's racist. So there's commentary out there like that. And what I will say is this. Sure, you could say racism is a factor. Sure, you could say black men are being targeted in the music industry or the film industry or the sports industry or the business industry. You could say that, but it still does not negate the fact that if you are a sexual deviant, it doesn't matter your race, it doesn't matter what type of industry you work in, it doesn't matter what age you are, it doesn't matter if you are a celebrity or if you are not a celebrity. If you are a sexual deviant, if you are a predator, you need to be held accountable. So I don't get all caught up in the whole race thing. And I do also want to make another distinction that people are not really vocalizing, but it's like an elephant in the room. This lawsuit is very well known because, yes, Tyler Perry is a celebrity, but also because it has to deal with two men involved. So we're looking at the aspect of homosexuality. So people have various views on homosexuality. Let's just say the people, the public, have a very negative connotation with two men being involved romantically and or sexually. But being a homosexual person, and in this regard, allegedly, if Tyler Perry is a homosexual man, being a homosexual person does not make you a deviant. It does not make you perverted. It does not make you someone who is immoral. But we live in a very homophobic society. So that's why I want to make this very clear, and I want to make a distinction. Being a homosexual, whether you are a male or a female, is not the issue. The issue is being a sexual deviant, being a predator, someone who commits SA. That is the issue. But people in the public want to make this out to be toxic because you're dealing with two men, because they don't agree with homosexuality. So people need to be careful to not prioritize homosexuality as being a problem over a person being a sexual deviant. With Derek Dixon, I understand he's a heterosexual man, and allegedly Tyler Perry is a homosexual man, but he hasn't come out of the closet. They're saying that he's down low. That's what is believed. Allegedly, let's say this is true. Tyler Perry hired this man professionally to be an actor. Yes, Derek Dixon agreed to be an actor under Tyler Perry's leadership. If this is true, that Tyler Perry has been sexually harassing Derek Dixon, he is wrong. You are going to be guilty of, quote, abuse of power. When you are in a position of power, you have influence. People usually look to you to guide them, to lead them, and for you to be responsible, and for you to be a safe person, and to be a person of authority. That is what you automatically take on. You take on those roles. And when you are a business owner, you are in a position of power, of leadership, of authority, and you have to be responsible, especially when you hire people under your organization. You have to treat your employees with respect. If you work anywhere, like, for example, if you work for corporate America, there are sexual harassment policies that are in place because it's understood that everybody is not going to respect people. They're going to violate people. And so when you are crossing the line, when you are putting your hands on a person and they are not welcoming your advances, if you are saying sexually explicit things to a person and they are not welcoming your words or conversation, this falls under the umbrella of workplace harassment and sexual harassment, and you will be in major trouble for doing so. You're violating someone's personal space, you're violating their body, and that is wrong. If you are in a position where you own a business, you own a company, such as Tyler Perry does. Sometimes people, they let their job title, their position go to their head. They don't have checks and balances, meaning they don't have people in place to monitor you and to keep order and morality in place in the business. And when this happens, the owner, for example, the CEO, whoever is in the position of authority, will feel entitled and they will feel empowered to do what they want to do. And many times this is not good because they don't have any type of moderation. They don't have anyone who is in their circle that will correct them. And why is this? Well, that could be many reasons. Some people may fear you. They may be concerned that they will lose their position. They will lose employment. They will lose money. They will lose connections. Some people may be concerned about being attacked, being violated themselves by the very person. People are concerned that they may be blacklisted. There's a plethora of reasons why people who are around someone who is in a position of authority or power does not confront them or does not keep them in check. That's what the whole idea of checks and balances means. It happens in the highest places of the world. Like even in governments, there's checks and balances. There has to be other positions and offices of people who are there so that they can communicate and create regulations and laws and rules to keep the business from being corrupt. Allegedly, if Tyler Perry does not have these checks and balances, he's basically willy-nilly and doing whatever he wants to do. And allegedly, this is what Derek Dixon is accusing Tyler Perry of. He's saying that nobody in Hollywood will correct Tyler Perry, allegedly. In other words, people know what's going on behind the scenes, but they're not taking any action about it. And this is why Tyler Perry is getting away with SA, allegedly. And why is Tyler Perry going after allegedly heterosexual men? Why would Tyler Perry choose a man who would not be naturally attracted to him? That's been some questions raised. And just to go back into what I was saying initially, I was going to go over like what I was thinking about the male point of view and the female point of view of some content creators covering this Tyler Perry and Derek Dixon lawsuit. With the male perspective, there was a male, I won't say the name of the content creators because feel free to go out and look at whatever content you want to. But this male content creator said that, actually it was a couple of male content creators I listened to. They kind of said the same thing, but in different ways. So for example, one of the guys, he said, well, as far as Derek Dixon accusing Tyler Perry of SA, I don't believe that Derek Dixon really was a person who was not able to protect himself because he is a man. And men do not allow other men to violate them in such a way. Men are built differently, meaning physically and mentally. Men are stronger than women. So this is not a situation where a woman is involved, where a man is essaying her. It's a man essaying another man or attempting to essay another man, allegedly. So the belief is that Derek Dixon was voluntarily in this setting of choosing to be hired under the Tyler Perry film productions because he chose and agreed to play these roles, and he stayed around. It's clear he had interactions with Tyler Perry by text messages and even in person. And Derek Dixon was aware that Tyler Perry was allegedly coming on to him, making sexual advances, and even literally physically putting his hands on him based on the statements that Derek Dixon has said in the lawsuit. And the guy was saying Derek Dixon had a plan. He was just keeping a track record so he could get enough evidence to be able to sue Tyler Perry for SA. This man particularly was saying that men are different from women when it comes to these type of situations, that Derek Dixon, he wanted to be able to get enough information on Tyler Perry to file this lawsuit. And that if he wanted to, he could fight Tyler Perry off because he's a man and he doesn't have to deal with that. But he intentionally stayed around because of twofold. He was getting paid because he was hired as an actor by Tyler Perry, so he played along. And then secondly, he knew that he was going to be able to file this lawsuit once he had enough incriminating evidence against Tyler Perry, allegedly. So now this lawsuit is going on for $260 million. And that's what that one man said. The other man, he said similar things, but his situation was different because he was actually a man who is bisexual. So the first man was heterosexual. The second man that I listened to was bisexual. So his take was a little different. And he was saying that Tyler Perry, he knew years ago Tyler Perry was gay. He said he couldn't understand why people didn't know the man was gay. But Tyler Perry portrays himself as a heterosexual man. He never has come out as being homosexual, but there's so much that's been going on, a lot of rumors, and allegedly people believe that Tyler Perry is a gay man or he's on the down low. But anyway, this male content creator, he's bisexual, and he said, I already knew Tyler Perry was gay. He believes 100% that Derek Dixon was in a situation where Tyler Perry was coming on to him sexually. He said that Derek Dixon is an attractive man and he's a straight man. So because he's a straight man and he's masculine and he's attractive, he was basically like eye candy to Tyler Perry, and Tyler Perry found him irresistible. And because he's this straight man, he's masculine, that's why Tyler Perry would chase him and go after him instead of going after another gay man. Because he said Tyler Perry, yes, he could have literally any man he wanted to in the world if the man is gay because of his position. But Tyler Perry intentionally goes after straight men because he said a lot of gay men go after straight men because they get kind of like a kick out of it. Because people are saying, why won't Tyler Perry just get a gay man and settle down? What's wrong? Why is he choosing straight men, heterosexual men? This is nonsense. So this guy's perspective help you to understand why Tyler Perry would do what he's doing, allegedly. Because I'm not going to say all gay men do this, but this particular bisexual man was saying that the majority of gay men will go after heterosexual men because it's a challenge and they're masculine and they're untouched. Like you can't get to them, and also they've never been touched by a man before. So that's what really gets them going, and that's why they go after straight men. So he was saying it makes sense why Tyler Perry would put himself in this position of harassing Derek Dixon. And he believes that Tyler Perry is guilty of it. And he says that Tyler Perry didn't play his cards right. And it's unfortunate. And that Derek Dixon was playing his cards right. And so that's why he has a lawsuit against him for $260 million. So that was what I heard from the commentary of the males, and I appreciate their perspectives. Now with the female, I probably only heard like one or two females, and they pretty much had the same thought process as a woman, because from a woman's perspective, they're thinking, okay, so these are two men involved. And they're like, okay, so Tyler Perry, if he's gay and he's going after this straight man, he is wrong for that. Why can't he just get a gay man and just be happy? He needs to leave the straight man alone. And I don't blame the straight man for filing this lawsuit against Tyler Perry, because what man wants another man coming after him? That's pretty much in summary how the women feel. And they were very upset about this because a lot of times women will put themselves in the shoes in this scenario of Derek Dixon, because they're like, why would a man hire me with the intention of knowing that he is going to try to R me or essay me? Because unfortunately, a lot of women experience this, and it's devastating. It's life-changing. It's horrific. It's extremely damaging. You are violating someone's body, and a woman is different from a man. A man can literally overpower a woman physically and do what he wills, unless she is, exceptionally trained, like where she's able to fight. But outside of that, even if she's able to fight him, that man, he could still be knowledgeable about how to fight as well. And with him already being physically stronger, he can, again, like he can just overpower her. So it's never right either way it goes, whether it's a man and a woman involved, or two men involved, or two women involved. Being a sexual deviant, being a sexual predator is evil, and it should never happen. And so when women hear stories like this, it could trigger them, especially if they've been through it. And the women kind of think opposite of men, because they don't view Derek Dixon as, oh, well, he's a man and he should suck it up and he should have just left, or he should have just fought Tyler Perry and went on about his business. No, they kind of have more empathy for him, because they're looking at it like, oh my God, all he's doing is going to work, and every day he comes to work, he's got to be harassed by this man. It makes sense why he would be, uncomfortable and intimidated by Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry, he's this big mogul guy. He's this great popular producer and filmmaker. He's afraid for his life. He doesn't know what's going to happen to his career. So he kind of just put up with it. But oh my God, he was smart. He kept his text messages, and now he's able to just use this incriminating evidence against Tyler Perry in the court of law. So yay, we're clapping for him. We're cheerleading for him. So that's the gist that I got from the female commentators. And it was all great information. And for me personally, my lesbian perspective, I just really want to make a distinction between homosexuality and a person being a sexual deviant. The public likes to put people, especially men, who are homosexual in this category of being a sexual deviant, and they are absolutely not the same. So you have to know how to separate the two. If allegedly Tyler Perry is a homosexual man, that's his business. And it's really no one's business what his sexuality is. But what makes it everybody's business is when you violate someone sexually. So if you're going to essay a person, well, you deserve to be exposed. So if Tyler Perry is guilty of this crime, well, he has to, you do the crime, you have to suffer the consequences. And so if it is true, I commend Derek Dixon for standing up, because most men won't. And if Tyler Perry is guilty of this, like going back to the Christian Keys situation, it took a lot of courage for Christian Keys to admit to what was happening, even though he didn't say any names. But Derek Dixon took it to a whole nother level. He admitted who it was. He has exposed that Tyler Perry has been making unwanted sexual advances against him, against his will. And now he has information that he has presented to his attorney, text messages. I don't know what other information he has, but we'll find out, I'm sure, in this lawsuit eventually. And if Derek Dixon is telling the truth, it will come out eventually. But I don't think any man should be quiet about these type of circumstances. And here's a picture of Derek Dixon. He's an actor, and he was acting, I believe, before even Tyler Perry put him on into these different films he's in. But Derek Dixon admitted that he's concerned about his acting career now. And he actually said he dealt with putting up with Tyler Perry's unwanted sexual advances because he was afraid of losing his job. Now, if you know a little bit about actors, they basically have to constantly seek for work. It's kind of like they're on contracts. They're not like permanently hired. Like contracts, they have an expiration date. So if you're out of work, you have to keep applying for work. It's not like you being a regular employee where you just wake up every day and you have your job, and the only way you lose your job if you do something wrong. But of course, there's other exceptions to the rule. You know, you could lose your job from being laid off, or because you were maybe fired. But outside of those circumstances, if you're an actor, you're kind of like on a contract, and you kind of depend on other people to hire you. And so it kind of makes sense why Derek Dixon would feel like he didn't have anywhere to go. Because if he didn't have this job, because if you're in a contract, or if you are hired as an actor to perform for a certain role, you're expected to be there. It's like you got to show up on camera. And if the person who hired you, and in this scenario, allegedly Tyler Perry, if he is bullying you, if he's essaying you, and you don't listen to what his orders are, his demands, he's going to pretty much fire you on the spot. He could even blacklist you because he's so powerful in the industry. He could actually influence other people not to hire you. So Derek Dixon understandably would be concerned about his acting career being over because Tyler Perry is in this high position of power. So I definitely understand Derek Dixon's concern. And it also was mentioned by Derek Dixon in the lawsuit that Tyler Perry was writing the scripts in a way where he was playing out his deviant sexual fantasies with men. Meaning Derek Dixon said in the lawsuit, allegedly, that Tyler Perry was writing out scripts where Derek Dixon had to play the role of a gay man or a prostitute who was sleeping with men in order to make it in life. And if he did not submit to whatever the men wanted him to do to get financially compensated, his life was threatened. And so Derek Dixon said Tyler Perry allegedly threatened his job and said that he would unalive him off of the script, meaning like he would delete his position as playing as an actor in this film. So that means that Derek Dixon was going to be unemployed, and he could have been blacklisted. And as an actor, if you don't have any other way of making money, you are very vulnerable. And so that is why Derek Dixon said he stayed around. But I will say that he was very smart to keep a record of all of the interactions he had with Tyler Perry, and he's using it against Tyler Perry. That's why he has this lawsuit. Now, as far as the amount of the lawsuit, $260 million is a lot of money. But in Derek Dixon's eyes, it's very small compared to the fact that Tyler Perry is a billionaire. In other words, he knows that Tyler Perry can afford it. But I also believe that Derek Dixon is looking at the long run, because what if he is blacklisted as an actor after filing this lawsuit? What if nobody hires him as an actor anymore? He wants to make sure that he's financially compensated for his future, meaning he doesn't have to work again for someone else. Maybe he'll start his own business like Christian Keys did. Christian Keys started his own company and he's doing very well. So they're thinking business wise. They're looking out for themselves. So I'm not mad at it. We'll see how everything plays out. Tyler Perry has a history of hiring a lot of Black people. He has been very much so a philanthropist. I will give him that credit. But if he is someone who is not wanting to be open about his sexuality for whatever reason, that is his own personal choice to not reveal his sexual orientation. I do wish that more Black men in the entertainment industry would come out and be themselves, but a lot of them feel like it's not safe or wise to. Maybe they feel like they'll lose credibility, they'll lose support, so they just decide to keep quiet about their sexuality if they are homosexual or bisexual. And allegedly, if Tyler Perry is homosexual, according to Derek Dixon, he sent some very explicit text messages. Tyler Perry allegedly told Derek Dixon that he is a top. And in the gay community, a top is a dominant male who is the one who performs on the gay male or the bisexual male. He's the one who is the more, I guess you can describe it as, I'm trying to find the word for it. He's the more aggressive one. And so he's a top, and he was saying how he's turning out all these bottoms and that he has a big peen. It was very explicit. So Derek Dixon, he put it out there. He has the text messages out there. So if this is all true, well, we know that this definitely describes a man who likes men. That's not something a heterosexual man would do. And when Derek Dixon went into how Tyler Perry ripped his clothes off and grabbed his butt and attempted to force himself on him, that's essay, y'all. I don't care if it's two men involved. That's wrong. It's wrong, and Derek Dixon allegedly was violated, and he has every right to file this lawsuit. And I don't think people should judge Derek Dixon for doing it, saying, oh, he's a man, he shouldn't have done anything, he should have just punched Tyler Perry, went on about his business. Or some people are saying things like, oh, that's outrageous that he would sue him for $260 million, he's just greedy. Some people are calling Derek Dixon racist. Listen, if you are ever in a position, and I hope that you will never be, of being bullied, of being sexually harassed by someone, you will not be so quick to judge another person. If you are a sexual deviant, if you are a sexual predator, you need to stop. You need to seek help. And you do not need to think that you are invincible, because your evil ways will catch up to you. So anybody who stands up and speaks up for themselves, I am 100% in support of them. And I believe that you should take it to the full extent. Take it to the court of law. And you deserve to be financially compensated, because when you go through being violated, it messes with you financially. Sometimes you can't even focus on a job because it does so much to you. You deserve financial compensation, but you also need even probably therapy and life coaching. As a matter of fact, I recommend for you to have it, and even spiritual help, because we're not just physical beings, we're also spiritual beings, and many people neglect the spiritual side of them. So if you are a believer, if you have a way that you help yourself in everyday living through a personal connection with the Most High God, you need to keep that as a priority. As a life coach, I provide life coaching for spirituality purposes. upon request. Not everybody wants life coaching that is focused on spiritual healing, but if they do, I provide that service, especially for same-sex attracted people, because we live in a world that judges us and mistreats us for being same-sex attracted people. They look at us as deviants, and we're not. God loves us. God loves same-sex attracted people, and God is not a respecter of persons. So if you're doing good, you will be blessed. If you're doing evil, you will be cursed. And that's just the bottom line. I hope that Derek Dixon is safe. And anybody who is going through this, I pray that they are safe and that they seek the help that they need. And I also pray that the deviants, the predators, that they get help. Whoever you are, get help. You don't have to be in a position where you're hurting people, because when you hurt other people, you absolutely are hurting yourself as well. And you should seek help. You should seek healing. Thank you for listening. I am Giselle Wallace, certified gay life coach and author. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share the video. Stay safe, stay healthy, protect yourself, protect other people. Make this world a place that you desire to live in.